Howdy everyone, Runt9 here, and welcome to Runt9 Plays Good Company. Good Company is a business production simulation game that came out in early access at the end of March from Chasing Carrots as the developer and the Irregular Corporation as the publisher. And so I've played about an hour of this so far, mostly just kind of digging through the tutorial, a little bit of campaign stuff, but what I wanted to do is for the next week, I figure we will do a free play setup and just kind of have fun with the game together, kind of see if it'll be a potential future Saturday stream type thing. So far, I had a good bit of fun with the campaign. The grindiness of the mechanics actually feels really good. It satisfies a little bit of that same automation sense that Factorio does. One thing I do have to say is that I'm recording this on a day where I'm still having some issues with COVID-like breathing symptoms, so I may have to stop in the middle of sentences to catch my breath or mute my microphone so that I can cough and things like that. But let's go ahead and jump into a free play scenario. You can see that I'm Runt9 Plays as part of Runt9 Productions, and we're going to jump into a new free play game here. And so basically you get dropped off here. And okay, it was lagging for a second there, not sure why, but we'll deal with that. So what do you do in this game? Well, basically, we're going to try to make some calculators. At the moment, the market is basically demanding 15 calculators per week at most, and they'll give us some money for it. So how do we build calculators? Well, what we do is we set up some tinker tables. On tinker tables, you can craft certain items. And let's take a little bit of a closer look here. So let's go over to the tinker table. And so I can make a simple case, a single cell battery, and an LED array. Well, none of those are calculators, you might say. Also, here's what we do. And I'm gonna go a little bit quick through this. So we're gonna build a design desk over in this corner. And we're gonna set up our assembly table. Honestly, I want it to be as short of a walk as possible. Realistically, we should be looking at our logistics point first and foremost. Ultimately, you want to end up where the logistics point is overlapping the incoming zone so you can bring things in, and overlapping, it doesn't actually have to overlap the outgoing zone. So what we're looking for here, having this fairly centered, and basically what this does is it helps coordinate your logistics. Yes. What does that actually mean? Well, we'll look at it more in just a moment. So from a shelving perspective, we put a medium shelf right here. It can hold a large amount of items, and we can set up a few tinker tables around this. We start with 100 grand, and that's definitely a good chunk of cash. So we can set up tinker tables about that far apart. That seems okay. I think we will move our logistics point just a little bit. Nope, unfortunately, that's actually the perfect place for it. So we actually won't move it. We'll just set up a tinker table right there. It'll be a little bit off, but they can all pull from this shelf. And they should all be able to very easily place their outputs into this shelf, for the most part. So what are we going to set up for? Well, how about we go over to this tinker table and make some small cases. And so you can see that it has some crafting costs. It requires some plastic. We'll go over to this tinker table and set up for batteries. Batteries require chemicals. And we'll go over to this tinker table and choose LED arrays. This one requires electronic parts. Well, how do we get that stuff? Actually pretty simple. You go over to the incoming zone, and anything that you have researched the crafting components for, which basically means you've researched a module that requires it, you can order every day. You can set up a bunch of stuff to order, but basically what this is going to do is every day we're going to order $1,040 worth of stuff. And then this is where things start getting interesting, as you enter logistics mode, and you see that you've got some stuff here with some exclamation points. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go from the incoming zone to this medium shelf. Then we're going to go from the incoming zone to this medium shelf. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to increase the bandwidth of each of these. Basically what that means is it can store more of each material. And we're going to leave some space here because we're going to need to have 3 of probably wood or metal or something like that for that tinker table in the future. And now from here, we've got chemicals, we've got plastic, and we've got electronic parts. So how about we drag the logistics pieces over to where they need to go. And now it's simple input output. So this medium shelf is going to be full up. That's going to be for incoming materials. We're going to just get things over there and let everyone from here pull from it and craft from it. Each of these people are going to have to walk over to the small rack to drop off their stuff. And now that is definitely not super efficient at the moment, and I am totally aware of that, but everything can be moved around, everything can be destroyed at a later time. But the biggest question you're asking right now is, well, how do you do all of this? Are there robots? Are there people? What do you do? Well, it's people. So we're going to hire some people. We can only hire one person right now. So how about we get them making some cases? And while that's going on, I'm going to pop over to the design desk. So what do you do here? Well, you create a new blueprint for something. We're going to create a new calculator. You can choose the case type, and you can unlock more cases as time goes by. And we have to select the case. And so it tells you how much material is required, how much space it takes up, and some features. So this gives you some drawbacks, and then there's features that you get from the modules that you put inside of it. You don't want the drawbacks to hit this upper limit. I haven't actually gotten to that upper limit, so I don't know exactly what happens, but I would venture to guess that it's bad. Now, this is a really fun part, and different cases have different layouts. Is you basically Tetris together how the components go in, increasing your expected features, increasing your affected drawbacks, and also increasing your market appeal. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to name this we're going to call this my first calculator, because it's our first calculator. So let's put an LED array there, and then how about we put a single cell battery here and here. So that gets us to a 5.0 market appeal. Our drawbacks aren't too bad right now. They're not hitting their limits or anything, and we're meeting the expected features as we should. With a 5.0 market appeal, I don't see much reason to go much higher than this. We have a lot of materials that we need to worry about. So how about we finish up that design? But one of the things you may notice is that at none of these stations could we actually build calculators. Where do we build calculators? Well, none other than an assembly table. My thought process here, obviously can't build it on top of yourself, is we want to have all of these unloading onto this shelf. And then actually what I will do is pick this up and rotate it so that it goes like that. So people can walk over, put it on this side, and then for the assembly table, I'm going to move myself out of the way. We're going to build the assembly table right here. And again, this is all going to change later. Definitely keep that in mind. We're going to walk over to the assembly table, and we're going to build my first calculator. We need 2 LED arrays, 2 single cell batteries, and 1 simple case. All right, well, how do we get there? Well, let's drag the logistics over there, and we'll just drag the output immediately to the cell zone. So basically, whoever finishes up at the assembly table just drags it to the outgoing zone. Can we hire more people yet? We can. So these 3 people will take care of the remaining modules that we need. So now all 3 people have a tinker table, and they're going to get to work. But the problem is these raw materials are not making it into this shelf. And I set up this logistics point specifically to hit those. So why isn't it working? Well, we actually need to hire someone else, which we don't have anyone else we can hire right now, to actually manage this stuff. So how about we, the boss, do some of it ourselves? We can shift click all of this into our inventory. We actually got another delivery coming up, so why not shift click some more? And we're gonna walk over to this medium shelf and we're gonna unload our inventory so our workers can get to work. And so I don't know how hard free play is meant to be. I think it's meant to be more of a sandbox. And so if it ends up being too sandboxy, we will pivot and play some campaign stuff. And now you can see everybody dumping their stuff into the shelving rack. So how about we pick up some modules? Or actually, can we hire someone else yet? That's the real question. We can hire 2 more people. So we're going to have 1 person assigned to the logistics. Their job is going to be to haul things from place to place. They're going to haul from incoming to the shelving unit for now. And later on, we will end up, moving things around and they'll end up hauling from an output to the outgoing zone. And then how about Carrie McJacobs? You go work over at the assembly table. Now, what you're probably saying is you only need 1 case, but you need 2 batteries and 2 LED arrays for every calculator. Isn't this an inefficient way to do things and you should set up more tinker tables to do this? Why, yes, you're quite right. So what are we gonna do to fix that? Well, we're actually going to remaneuver our tinker tables a little bit and set up 2 more. What I'm gonna do is we're going to pivot this to be that does kind of put the shelf in a bad place, but everything can kind of move around right now. We'll push the shelving unit up by 1. We will turn this around like so. We will bring this one down like so. We can even bring this shelving unit to be a little bit more centralized. And then, how do I want to do this? We're gonna need more room than that. And again, I'm kind of doing this all by like the seat of my pants, and I realize that this is getting a little bit crazy kind of quickly. Let's try to centralize the storage a little bit better. You can still walk up there. Let's put the shelf kind of like right in the middle here. And then that allows us to put another desk along this wall. And then it'll be kind of easy to see how things are going to work themselves out. We'll put another tinker table right there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to unpause. We're going to walk over this one. And so these 2 people are going to be doing batteries. These 2 tinker tables are going to be doing LED arrays. And then we'll just set up all the requisite logistics. So inputs to there, inputs to there, outputs to there, outputs to there. And now we've got the perfect ratio. So how about we hire some more people? And I mean, we're probably going way too fast, way too early, but I don't know, we're figuring it out together. So you're gonna work at that one, you're gonna work at that one. And now we've got everything we need, baby. We're gonna start pumping out some calculators. But the thing is, we have these low-level tier 1 modules. How do we get more? So we sold 1 calculator for 640, but we lost 4 grand. That's not good. Are we gonna go bankrupt in our first game? Entirely possible. How about we start figuring out how we can do even better? Let's drop an analysis desk off into this corner, and we'll put a research desk kind of off on its own world. So how does this all work? Well, what you do is you can take extra components, not that we necessarily have extra components at the moment, but we have some simple cases. So I'm actually going to we'll grab half that stack. grab 2 simple cases, and just to show you how this works, we're going to go over to the analysis desk, and we're going to basically deconstruct some simple cases. How do I... here we go. So we can do 2, and we're going to do 40 seconds worth of analysis, and this is going to give us some data points. You can see we have our hard worker carrying stuff over to the medium shelf. We've got everyone just kind of lining up, and fortunately there's no person collision, because I think that would add just a lot of extra logistical nightmares to things. Glad that that's not a thing. So we're actually going to sell a good number of calculators. We've got our production line going. We have hired a bunch of people, but we've got 4 calculators ready to go out. We got 5 calculators ready to go out right about now. That's 3,200. We turned a profit of $780 last week, and we finished up analyzing these simple cases. So now let's head over to the research desk. We've got 8 data points ready to go, basic research data. Let's take a look at the tech tree and pause for a moment. And so you can see there's quite the tech tree here. We may start off making calculators, but later on we can make cameras and torque motors and high density memory banks and all sorts of stuff. Battery block. But that's tier 14. That's a long ways off. So what do we do right now? Well, we decide, is there a new case that we would like? Do we want to bump up to better batteries? Do we want to try a wooden case? We could get simple circuits, and simple circuits add some neat stuff to our calculators. So maybe we start there. We'll just start with some simple circuits, because that adds more interesting logistics, and I want to kind of build out this big logistics facility here, and then we'll worry about our assembly plant in the other building. Oh yes, I did say other building. What do I mean by that? Well, over here, we can go walk over and click on this, and for 15 grand, we can buy that building too. And before long, we'll have an incredibly huge empire of production. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry, I gotta catch my breath for a second, talking a lot. So the way this works is you turn research data into research, and you use research, obviously, to research new things. So we're gonna use the 8 research data we have to try to research some more stuff. But, of course, just like everything else, it can be automated by adding people. So how about we hire a new employee, and this person is going to get assigned to the analysis desk, which obviously needs logistics. And then for the moment, we ourselves will handle research as research data becomes available. So in order to get research data, we need something that we're going to have extra of. We're not really going to have extra of anything. So instead, we're just going to do all modules for the moment. Come back over to the shelving rack and do it in logistics mode. Now, you can go pick up from the shelving rack and go to the analysis desk. But doesn't that slow down the assembly of calculators, you might ask? Yeah, it does. So what do? Well, we ramp up production, obviously. What do we do to get there, though? Well, I have to think about how to re-Tetris this facility a little bit. It's definitely going to include moving the logistics point a bit. We can push the medium storage a little ways further down. We should probably push our assembly a little bit. We made 880 weekly profit. So far, doing okay. We're not necessarily making a ton of money, but we're staying afloat, and that's what matters. So we also need market research, and that's something that I don't necessarily know much about yet. We're sitting at 33% market share. We've sold 5 per week, so it looks like we can consistently sell 5 calculators per week. Well, except for right now, We do have a milestone first. Generate and spend at least 150 research data. And that will unlock the agave plant and additional market demand for the markets of level 1. So I think that we should just immediately start scaling up production even more. And the way that I think we want to do that is go into building mode and move some stuff around even more. We're going to rotate you this way. We're going to move the logistics point. No, the logistics point is good right there. That actually does mean our medium shelving unit is just barely in range. If we put it there, is it still hit? That's where it goes out of range, yes. We can go right there. And we're gonna scale up production like crazy, dude. So for this tinker table, I actually want you up against the wall like that. I think. No, actually, we want you like this, and we want to start making these tinker tables go like that as well. We will keep you kind of in a corner like that, and then medium shelf can only be accessed from the front. That is obviously the primary flaw. Can the logistics still reach it from that point? It can. So I think that works out. These people kind of have to work a little bit harder to get there. I think that's okay. And then we'll grab a couple new tinker tables. We will line you up there and you there. And I realize that this is like not necessarily the most space efficient way to do this. I'm fully aware. But we're gonna just scale up production like crazy. We're gonna keep crafting only one case at a time, and basically what I want to do is scale up to the point where we're not killing cases for research data, we're only killing batteries and LED modules. So how about we go do that right away on the analysis desk? No, don't nuke our cases. Let's keep one person crafting cases, and let's go set up these tinker tables for 2 more batteries, 2 more LEDs. Battery, LED array, and LED array. So one thing I just realized is this person has to walk all the way around to the front of the shelf. That's not going to work for me. So we're going to instead just turn this to be like that. And realistically, we could turn this into a small shelf that can be accessed from both sides. We'll get there. Actually, what we should do is throw this medium shelf in the trash. If I deconstruct that... Okay, all of that goes in my inventory. Totally cool. Totally fine with that. Because then we can do 2 shelving units like that. It won't necessarily block pathing. And then we will go into logistics mode, and we will just drag this to both racks. Well, we have to do it this way. So do that and then do it again. No, that doesn't work. So we'll just add, we won't add any bandwidth right away. That's actually fine. So just drag those in. And then, well, you need that. 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 And you need that. And also we will do the same thing again. And so this is one of the complaints that I saw on Steam, is having to set up all of the logistics manually, and I would imagine especially once you get a little bit bigger, would be a very frustrating task. One thing we also need to do is we probably should start putting these modules onto the small shelving racks as the output. And again, I know that there is a much more efficient way to do this. We will get there. But we're actually going to drag all of these into that one, all of the batteries into this one, And then we will definitely make more bandwidth for the batteries. Actually, no, 30 should be fine. If we end up running out of space, we will deal with that. And then these will get transported to this shelving rack. These will get transported to this shelving rack. And now we need to go back here and deal with turning off the existing outputs. It's the manual stuff here is maybe a little on the not frustrating, but just like tedious side. I would like to see this a bit more automated. So I think we've got everything set up the way we need it. We have doubled our production, and then we just need to hire 4 more people. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go down here. I catch my breath a little bit, sorry. And just assign everybody to the requisite stations. Now, this doesn't double our calculator output, but we have almost doubled our workforce. That seems like it might potentially be problematic. Oh, also, let's go seed the shelves with some product. Throw a bunch of stuff in here. Whatever we can fit. Oh, you know what? It helps if you do shift instead of control. And we'll go over to this one and fill this one up as much as possible. Because I don't think we really need to keep all that stuff in our inventory. Now we've got basically some full shelving racks ready to go. They are actually going to run out of space to put stuff at some point, but if that happens, we'll deal with that when that comes around. And at this point, I think we've got the first basic setup going here. We did lose some money last week, but I do think calculator production will start ramping up here pretty soon. We're doing just fine on modules. Looks like batteries might be running a little low. How about we go check? I mean, we got 10 batteries over here. We may want to consider hiring a second logistics person, move things from place to place. So how about we do that right now? And I just love this type of game where there's always something to do. Like, it's going to be really difficult for me. And also, at least for the moment, it appears like you can assign pretty much as many people as you want to the logistics point. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the research desk. We're going to just kind of put this off to the side. We're going to spend all of it and start research. And why not fast forward and let things run a little bit? Let's see how our calculator output is. It looks like it'll probably be around the same 5 per week. Can't quite get a 6th calculator out there. Let's stop for just a moment so we can check out our supply on the shelving rack. So it looks like that we can ramp up assembly as well. So how about we do that? And if we can double our calculator output per week, that seems like it would be a positive thing to me. So we're gonna slide right into that person's personal space a little bit. And then how about you grab me assembly and throw an assembly table right there. Again, this is complete jank, and you're probably looking at this like, oh God, Runt, why? Don't worry, it'll all be better soon, I promise. We will move all the assembly and research to a new building, and this will just be our production line. So let's go over to this assembly table. You're going to make my first calculator. And how about we hire another person to do some assembly for us? You're going to come over here and, oh wait, we need to handle the logistics. You input there, output there, and let's go. We'll go back over to research. Did I not assign you a task? Did I hire an extra person? Hold on. We have 2 logistics. I messed something up here. Did I I think I might have reassigned somebody. I did. You assemble there. Okay, I reassigned Carrie McJacobs and accidentally, instead of assigning Carl. Got it. So let's find out if this does actually double our weekly calculator output. If it does, then we're definitely in a good spot. And we do have enough research ready to go from the analysis desk to get the basic or the simple circuit research done. And once that research is done, that's where we're going to close out the first episode, because I'm going to need to do a lot of shifting stuff around because needless to say, things are getting a little chaotic and cluttered in here. But the thing is, even the jankiest setup is working. Is it at peak efficiency? No. Do I want to sit here and over optimize it? Oh, you can't even imagine how much I want to optimize it. But am I happy? Oh, this is fun. We got 7 calculators out the door last week. We broke even on profit. That's what you like to see. There's a lot more numbers here that we'll dive into in a future episode. At the moment, I just want to get moving on milestone 1 and get some calculators out the door. It looks like our assembly line or our production line down here is going well. It does seem like we have a bottleneck on cases, as you might expect, because we have 4 of the other modules to only 1 case being produced. But that is a problem for next episode. Let's just get this research finished, and then we're gonna do a bunch of redoing all of this because we're gonna need to do that. So research is complete on simple circuit. Let's go. What does that mean? Well, now we can craft simple circuits at a tinker table. And the important part to note is simple circuits require circuit boards and electronic parts. Circuit boards require metal and plastic. So we're going to need to A, import metal, B, craft circuit boards and put them on a intermediate shelf, and C, craft simple circuits. In addition, we need to ramp up our case production. We got a lot to do. I'd say it was a successful first episode, though. We got a lot of calculators going out, and we have gotten to a little bit of market overview, 6 out of 10. Seems like a lot of good stuff. I'm excited to keep playing this. So far, seems like a really fun game. That's going to do it for this episode, though. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, let me know your feedback, likes, comments, dislikes, at Runt9 Plays on Twitter, and go check out the Discord link in the Linktree link in the description below. In addition, I stream over on twitch.tv/Runt9 Plays, and this might end up being a Saturday game in the future, but for now, that's going to do it. Until the next episode, I'm Runt9, and I will see you later.